presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
Another big crowd is gathered at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Spring Training 2016. Our Toyota keys to today and the season. Can Jordan Walden bounce back? We'll find out tomorrow. He's not scheduled to pitch today. This is Waino's last tune-up. He'll get the Washington Nationals. Take a bow. Baseball comes your way next. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. It's another beautiful afternoon from Roger Dean Stadium. Spring Training 2016. It's winding down. And this afternoon, Dusty Baker's Washington Nationals come to town to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. What a matchup on the mound. Steven Strasburg going for the Nationals, and for the Cardinals, it's Adam Wainwright.
Final tune-ups for both these aces, and it should be a lot of fun. But didn't it sound funny saying Dusty Baker in the Nationals?
Dusty Baker back in the National League at the helm of the Washington Nationals. We have baseball coming up this afternoon. It's a great matchup. Steven Strasburg, the hard-throwing right-hander of Washington. For St. Louis, their ace, Adam Wainwright. Nationals, Cardinals, comes your way next. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. The capable hands of Phil Weller, our technical director. Inside our truck, and thanks to all the men and women of our crew down here at spring training, they've done an outstanding job. There's a look at Mike Matheny and Dusty Baker. They'll square off this year in the National League. Good to see Dusty back in the game, Al.
It really is. You know, he's 66 years of age, had a little medical issues, but he's back where he belongs, and that's at the helm. Last year, the Nationals had, you know, kind of a mutiny on their hands. They lost respect for their manager, Matt Williams. He was let go, and right now, Dusty Baker, that won't happen with him. He really has a handle on things. Maybe not the greatest technician during the game, but he really knows how to handle men.
Chance of rain in our forecast here this afternoon, and it's raining across the state coming our way. Temperatures very warm, 84 degrees. The wind is blowing from right field line towards center at about 10 miles an hour. And again, we could have a little rain coming up this afternoon. So they want to get this one in and get the work in for Steven Strasburg and Adam Wainwright. There are a bunch of aces across Major League Baseball going today. Madison Bumgarner, Wainwright, Strasburg, Chris Sale, list goes on. And for many of these top starters, it's their final tune-up of spring.
And right, and you think about with Strasburg, he was scheduled to pitch yesterday, but they were rained out in that ball game. Dusty had, I guess the other day, they had a night game scheduled here, and they got rained out earlier this week. So some of his pitchers are trying to catch up, and so are the position players.
Last season, the Nationals were 83-79, second in the National League East, 7 games back of the Mets. And a look at Dusty's lineup. One of the top young players in their system is Trey Turner. He'll lead it off and play shortstop. Michael A. Taylor has had a remarkable spring, hitting close to 500. Then Clint Robinson, Chris Heisey, Matt Dendecker, the former Met, Stephen Drew, Sizemore, Lobaton, and the pitcher Steven Strasburg. Well, we mentioned it yesterday. He probably would have been the story of camp if he had not come back at the end of last season and pitched with the Achilles surgery and healed, and that's Adam Wainwright. Those are his numbers this spring, and he's pitched well.
He has pitched well. He's gotten a couple losses, but we've been playing an awful lot of youngsters behind him, and right now he's trying to get that tune-up. He'll make the opening day start on Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh, and boy, the Cardinals are looking forward to 34 starts versus the 4 starts he had a year ago.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals defensively today with Brandon Moss in left. Randall Grichuk, your center fielder. Tommy Pham is in right. This is Around the Horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Matt Carpenter is at third. Jed Jerko at short. Colton Wong is at second base. Matt Holliday is at first, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. A quiet camp for Tommy Pham. He's put up good numbers, couple of home runs, hit one the other day off of Jose Fernandez, and he looks to be your 4th outfielder heading to Pittsburgh.
And I don't think we'd be surprised if he's in the opening day lineup along with Holliday, but Holliday playing first base. Then you have the Pham, Grichuk, and Piscotty in the outfield.
And the first pitch is grounded to second baseman Colton Wong. Trey Turner, 1 pitch, 1 out. And you say that because it has been announced Francisco Liriano, the very good left-hander for the Pirates, will be their opening day starter.
And so really you have a better defensive outfield, and I think the fact that Holliday has played very well over at first base is not surprising at all. And remember, he was a college infielder. Michael
A. Taylor, 455 the average, but 4 home runs, and he's driven in 15 this spring.
Projected to be their 4th outfielder, and many people think it's not going to be long before he's a regular, but he's got an awful lot of talent, so good matchup for Adam.
The 1-1 pitch, good curveball. They have Jason Worth in their outfield, Taylor, Bryce Harper. They picked up Ben Revere, came over in the Drew Storen deal with Toronto. 1-2 pitch, misses low. This battery has been together for over 10 years. Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina. Two of the leaders on this team.
Yeah, good to see Yadi back in there after dropping a weight on his foot.
And a ground ball that's hit to short. Jerko circles it, flips it over to Holliday for the out.
Jerko's done a nice job at shortstop. Haven't seen a lot of him over there, but Mike Matheny talking today about the fact that he's looked pretty good. Tejada, you know, just as I think you almost echoed the same term, or Matheny almost echoed the same thing you said. He looks good out there.
Looks the part.
He looks the part.
Yeah.
And I'm pleasantly surprised with Jerko's play at shortstop.
Clint Robinson at the plate. We saw Jerko at shortstop in the game that Jaime Garcia pitched. He had 11 ground ball outs, and majority of those were hit to Jerko. Had to range a few times towards second base to his left and made a couple of really good plays, and it kind of caught your eye.
Yeah, particularly the one early in the game where it was had to run in a ball that fielded just behind the mound and then make the off-balance throw.
Now Jerko even more with the shift here with 2 strikes, moves over to the second base side, and a curveball is lifted high in the air out to deep right field. Pham is there on the track to make the catch. Hanging breaking ball, but the wind knocked it down. And so with that, it's a 1-2-3 inning for Adam Wainwright on Fox Sports Midwest. Steven Strasburg, the free agent to be. Big year, Al, for him coming up.
Well, no doubt about it. You know, you'll see glimpses of brilliance, but then you see that he can be injury prone. He's also had some bad luck and inconsistencies, but as you said, his walk year, very important to him. And whenever you're talking about him and a free agent, you're talking about Boris.
Scott Boras, the power agent that represents Steven Strasburg. Here's Matt Carpenter batting 190 this spring, 1 home run and 2 RBIs. One ball, 1 strike. Washington as a whole, looking at their record, has been very good. 17-4-3, and some believe, in talking with some scouts, this could be the team to beat in the National League East, even with the pitching of the Mets. But they've just played well, cohesive unit, crisp. And the same cannot be said at times for the Cardinals. They've had some sloppy defense. The Cardinals come in with a record of 9-13-3.
I think also the fact that Nationals will score runs.
And the 1-2 is lifted out to center field, and a base hit from Matt Carpenter. A look at the Cardinals lineup. Carpenter, Long, and Holiday. Randall Grichuk will bat cleanup, followed by Brandon Moss. Then Yadier Molina, Jed Jerko, Tommy Pham, and the pitcher Wainwright batting 9th.
Last couple days here in Florida, and you really got to push yourself. And everybody now seeing light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that the regular season is going to start quickly.
Third baseman is in. That's Stephen Drew. And a strike to Colton Wong. Wong hitting .302 this spring, no home runs. He's driven in 1. Cardinals have been really aggressive on the bases this spring in terms of steals. As Carpenter fake going to second. That's a strike. 0-2. Boy, there was so much hype when Steven Strasburg got to the big leagues. They actually threw out his first pitch. Remember that? It was a ball that went to Cooperstown, and they were anticipating so many things with him, but he's dealt with arm injuries. Can he stay healthy? Can he put together 30 starts? He's got good stuff. There's no questioning that. One ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's got so many ingredients that you would think of being making him an outstanding pitcher, and he's still young enough where he can get that consistency and live up to that high billing. But the only way you learn in this game is be on that mound and pitch.
The 1-2 to Colton Wong. Ground ball softly hit to the right side. He'll get the lead man, no throw to first. So there's one away. In steps Matt Holliday. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense for the Washington Nationals. Heisey, Taylor, Dendecker in the outfield. Drew, Turner, Sizemore, Robinson along the infield. Jose Lobaton is behind the plate. Strasburg on the mound. That's again presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
Good to see Matt with that monstrous home run yesterday in the first inning.
Hit that off of the ageless Bartolo Colon and hit it off the building beyond the left field wall, which is the Marlins offices here at this complex. Nationals rained out their final game at Vieira. They will move to the Palm Beach area next year. One out, runner at first, Colton Wong. If you're thinking about base stealing threats for the Cardinals in this lineup, that would be Colton Wong, the one that you look at, and Holliday did not like this call.
Matt thought it was possibly low.
Wong had 15 steals a year ago. And a check on him.
He talked about how aggressive they've been on the base paths, but right now I want to see Colton Wong do something. You know, Matt Holliday, low ball hitter, powers the ball on the ground so often. You know, you want to stay out of the double play.
Wong was leaning towards second. One thing about Steven Strasburg, when you watch him pitch, he is very slow, very deliberate, takes his time. One of the slowest workers in the game today.
Can have a negative effect on your defense.
Here's the 0-1 to Holliday. Because of the rainout, it pushes back Max Scherzer. He was to get the start today against Wainwright. They push him back, and Strasburg goes this afternoon. One ball, one strike on Holliday.
You can do it!
Wong is off with a pitch. It's taken for a ball, throw to second, and out. Wong caught stealing. Pitch was a ball to Holliday. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Trying to get that good jump over there. Lobaton's throw bounced, but it had a direct, true hop to the fielder receiving it and just dropped down the tag.
So Strasburg now working from the windup with nobody on. The 2-1 pitch. Taken high, 3-1.
There you go. Ball bounces right there, but you see just catches the ball and just applies the tag. Got Sizemore, the second baseman.
A 2-out walk to Holiday. Randall Grichuk in the cleanup spot. Picked up his 6th RBI of spring yesterday. He's got 2 home runs and batting .326 down here in Jupiter.
It was Cologne yesterday, but they were really, the Mets really were working inside on Grichuk.
And Fernandez the day before was doing that with him as well.
Moving in.
Fights it off into right center field. That ball is down. Tailing into the gap in right center. Grichuk with a single. Holiday over to third. He's so strong, Al, that if you do go in on him, and you can understand why teams would want to do that, don't let him get extended, but he can do that. Go to right field with that pitch.
Well, that's it. And the more he gains, but that ball is out over the middle of the plate, so a little easier to shoot it over there. Michael Taylor gets this ball back in quickly. You talk to all these Cardinal hitters now. They're all just chomping at the bit. Ask them, are you ready? And it's an affirmative.
So 2 outs and 2 on here in the bottom of the first. And Moss looks at a breaking ball for a strike. He's hitting .244 this spring with a home run and 7 RBIs. The shift is on for Brandon Moss. The shortstop is on the second base side of the bag as he fights it off, and that's strike 2.
Where the second baseman is positioned here. It's a big gap. Normal second base area. And second baseman playing towards the right field line.
Oh, 0-2 the count. And a strikeout of Moss. So the Cardinals strand 2, the first strikeout for the 27-year-old Steven Strasburg. After an inning, no score. At noon tomorrow. Catch it on Fox Sports Midwest or head to Ballpark Village for game day specials. Watch it on the big screen. It's Cardinals spring training on Fox Sports Midwest. Then after tomorrow, we have 147 regular season games ready for you in 2016. What should be a very fun year. Again, competitive, good team, very good division. As Heisey swings and misses.
know, one thing, Dan, you really do have to take advantage of clubs like Milwaukee and Cincinnati. They're retooling. You just can't, you got to dominate against them.
Then you have the matchups with Pittsburgh and Chicago, and those will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, just play 500 baseball. Hopefully a little more than that, but.
Big breaking ball there from Adam Wainwright.
I mean, Adam knows that Heisey pretty much a fastball hitter. That slow, tantalizing breaking ball was sweet.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Chris Heisey, former Red, reunited with Dusty Baker. This time last year, the Nationals, the consensus pick to win the division. Many felt the World Series, but they crashed and burned in August, and basically done by the second week of September as the Mets got on fire. But they picked up Cespedes, and that pitch just missed. Leadoff walk.
This is Wainwright's 5th start. Came in with a total of 15 innings pitched, and that's really changed over the years. The starting pitchers don't pitch as much in spring training.
And this year, by design, in particular with Wainwright, Waka, Leake even said a new approach with his spring training, trying to cut back on some of the innings and save up for what could be a long stretch run for the Cardinals. They hope into October.
Let's you know why they're doing it. You understand it, but games in April are just as important as the ones in September.
Decker takes a pitch inside. Was talking with Adam Wainwright the other day about his matchup 10 years ago against Carlos Beltran and that famous curveball that struck him out, stranded the bases loaded, sent the Cardinals on to the World Series. And he said it was Yadier Molina that not many people talk about that guided him through the at-bat. And he said the key pitch, clearly the curveball. But he said everybody in the stadium was expecting a first pitch fastball to Beltran. He threw a changeup, and it set the course of the at-bat to a different level and had him thinking.
Right.
And he said that was really the key pitch in his mind in that at-bat. What a famous moment that is in Cardinals history. And here they are 10 years later, still going strong. One and two the count on Decker. Runner at first is Heisey. There's the curveball, and it's popped up. Molina will give it a look. And it's about 8 or 9 rows deep behind the Nationals dugout.
You know, Adam started in the Atlanta Braves organization, came in the J.D. Drew trade. Pretty lopsided trade for the Cardinals. Ray King, Adam. There's one more that they can. We said Drew and Marrero.
You got Marrero. You got it.
So we got King and Adam there. Also, there's somebody else.
Marquis.
Oh, Jason Marquis.
2 and 2 the count. Lopsided in the fact that JD did not re-sign with the Braves. There's a double play. If they get there, no. Jerko late in getting to the bag. Yadi did what he's supposed to do, throw it to the bag. It was there. That should be a double play.
I'll strike him out and throw him out. It even looked like Yadi tried to hesitate a little bit instead of really gunning it there, but Jerko was late in getting there. In my mind, this has to be an error on the shortstop. It is a little bit wide, but
and how about this defense here? The infield is drawn in with a shift. Stephen Drew. Drew is hitting .273. 1 home run, 8 RBIs, trying to make this club.
I talked to Steven today and asked him about JD, brother, and he said he's at home being a dad, and he's got 5 kids.
5.
But Steven, a year ago, was with the Yankees. Hit 17 home runs, but only had, I think, 201 average.
Broke his bat, gets a new piece of lumber.
This is a strange shift, isn't it?
Yes, you don't see this very often if you're shifting and then to have the infield drawn in. Check swing did not go.
God, he liked that location right there. Wanted it right in under his hands.
One ball, 1 strike. Outfield is straight away. Infield drawn in. Runner at third and only 1 out. The 1-1. That play right there with Molina and Jerko, we've seen a lot of those miscues defensively for the Cardinals. Among the grapefruit and cactus league leaders in errors. Try to tighten that up before Sunday. He still has it. Good old Uncle Charlie.
That fooled Drew where didn't offer at it.
The 2-2. Ground ball. Does it pay off? A play at the plate. Molina applies the tag. Positioned perfectly. Playing in the shift. It pays off. A strong throw to Yadier Molina.
And of course, remember the rules that you have to give a lane to the runner. So Jerko's got to throw a strike. The shortstop playing on that side. Right there. You can't stick that leg out there to block it like the old days. So he gets that lane, and a lot of times, Danny, it always looks like these guys are going to be safe because that lead leg. Bob Boone, who's now works in the front office for the Nationals. Recent article is talking about how much he does not like that rule.
I think it's just because, and Mike Matheny talked about it again earlier in spring when we were down here, the onset, there's still just a little gray area with it in terms of the lane and what catchers are supposed to do, what the runner is supposed to do. The 2-0. And a base hit to left. Scott Sizemore with a 2-out hit. And it brings in the switch hitting catcher, Jose Lobaton.
I was talking with Mike Matheny in the offseason, and the question came up. We were talking about Buster Posey, reason the rule was made, and when Mike was an analyst with Fox Sports Midwest, you know, he demonstrated how Posey, who hurt that ankle and everything, how he was in the wrong position. And Mike was adamant about, you know, that you have to block those balls and you got to do these things. And now as a manager, you know, he's sitting there fully endorsing, you know, the new rule. Still, like you say, some gray area. And I reminded him about that. And he goes, well, I have a lot more responsibility now. And protecting Yadier Molina, one of the premier players in the game, you know, I've changed my thinking. I like the rule now because I don't want my guy to get hurt.
And Mike, of course, dealt with the post-concussion syndrome and a lot of the batted balls off the mask and even some of those collisions. A pickoff towards second and back in safely.
Oh, Yadi and Jerko got together on that one. had their little plan on.
Is that more by feel, Al, or is there a sign that they've got with the combination of those two?
Yeah, I think that, you know, it could be either way, you know, because, you know, Yachty's so aware of everything. But I would think it would be more design play, or this guy's getting a big lead. Let's try and throw behind him.
2-2 the count. Big gap in right center field. Grichuk is shallow in left center in center field. Tapped foul. Wainwright just cruised through that first inning with a couple of ground outs and a deep fly ball out. This inning started with a walk, then a strikeout, then the ground out with the play at the plate. Sizemore the single, and it's pitch number 35 of the afternoon for Wainwright.
Asked Derek Lilliquist, would Wainwright be on a pitch count? He goes, we're going to let him pitch till he's happy.
Lance Lynn there on the right, recovering from Tommy John.
By the way, Lance Lynn started a throwing program yesterday. 60 feet. He'll throw every other day. He will be in St. Louis for the home opener. Then come back down here, continue his workouts.
3-2 pitch, runners go. Carpenter backhands it, long throw, and the stretch. Got him. Nice play by Holiday to pick that. A long stretch. And a long inning is through with no damage done. Carpenter with the backhanded play. And an outstanding pick from first baseman Matt Holiday. That's right. He's at first. Nicely done. And there's no score. Cardinals spring training baseball is live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay connected all spring. Radio broadcast, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download it for your smartphone and tablet. #1 app for live baseball. We finish up spring tomorrow. The Cardinals finish up Thursday in Tampa. Exhibition game against the Yankees. Then they'll fly to Pittsburgh. Couple of workouts there, and then we start the season Sunday. We'll have a 2-hour pregame show beginning at 10 a.m. on Fox Sports Midwest, and then first pitch is at noon. Here's Yadier Molina. Molina with a fly ball out to right center. Michael A. Taylor puts it away for the out.
I really like his tools. Maybe rushed to the big leagues last year, Taylor, because of all the injuries, but he's having a great spring.
Jed Jerko, the 27-year-old shortstop, looks at a strike. You can see where this bench of the Cardinals could be a lot better. Jerko has averaged 16 home runs the last 3 years. And when he plays against left-handed pitching, that's when he does most of his damage. 282 against the lefties. Against right-handed pitching, 235. Mostly at short this spring with the injury to Johnny Peralta. Popped up near the line, now in foul territory. The catch is made by Clint Robinson.
And you talk about the power coming off the bench. You know, it's first time in a while the Cardinals are going to have some players, some hitters will come up there and pitch hitting assignments that put a little fear or get the attention of the opposing manager.
You got Moss or Adams most likely coming off the bench. Holiday maybe occasionally. Here's Tommy Pham, who's had a healthy spring, and that's been the key for him, to stay healthy.
Throughout his minor league days, you know, health was always an issue.
Base hit into center field.
Has gained a lot of confidence. I take that ball right back up the middle, staying on pitches. Hit a home run earlier this week on a breaking ball that, you know, looked like he knew was coming. Or
who will be the best hitting pitcher for the Cardinals?
I vote Mike Leake.
Ooh, Waino better not hear that. Bill Miller is at first base. Chris Maloney is the third base coach. And it looks like the Cardinals could be without Jose Oquendo for the entire season. Recovering from knee surgery. Lives in the area. He said he did not want to be a half coach. If he wanted to be a part of the team, he wanted to have the role that he's always had, which is working with the infielders, setting the defense, being a third base coach. And he's gotten around now on crutches and golf carts, so it's been very tough for him this spring. So the Cardinals lose a couple of shortstops.
Yeah, you can't hit fungos to the fielders, can't get out of the batters or out to third base box because you can't move.
I asked him about it the other day, and he said, "This is killing me." He said, "Not only my pain, but the pain of not being with the team and doing the things that I love."
About 17 years, that sound right? Third base coach for the Cardinals.
Longest tenured third base coach in Major League Baseball. Here's a 1-1.
The question was asked Mike Matheny today about missing Oquendo in that dugout and, you know, setting the lineup defensively, positioning for the infielders. And Mike was confident that the Cardinals will have that taken care of, but Mike also tried to get Jose to, you know, hey, we'll keep you on the bench, do something like that. And Jose said, I can't be half the coach.
1-2 the count on Adam Wainwright. Second strikeout for Steven Strasburg this afternoon. We have played 2 from Roger Dean Stadium. Nationals and Cardinals, no score. Top of the third, and there is no score. An eventful second inning for the Cardinals defensively. What should have been a strike him out, throw him out, that wound up into center field. Then Jed Jerko with the shift comes home. The tag applied by Molina. And then Matt Carpenter, a good play. And on the other side, Al, outstanding play from Matt Holliday.
Well, no doubt about it. Started with Carpenter snaring that ball to the backhand, a long throw, and a great scoop from Holliday. Holliday was a third baseman in college, and even the first couple of years in pro ball. So he wanted to make sure that he was comfortable over there. Talked with Kendall in the offseason. Come out and both living in the area.
Remember, that was the talk of maybe midway through last year and towards the end of last season. Could Matt Holliday play first base? And at the time they said, nope, he's an outfielder. He's going to play left field. But Holliday put in the work this offseason. Cardinals hold an option on his contract for next year, and he's made himself a more versatile player.
Right. He wants to re-sign with the Cardinals or pick up that option. But thinking about his future, playing another position, makes you that much more valuable also.
2-2 the count on Steven Strasburg. Then we'll see Trey Turner and Michael A. Taylor. No score here from Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Hit out of play. Standing room only here at Roger Dean. We've had sold-out crowds day in and day out. Ballpark holds just over 7,000.
How do you think? A sellout in Pittsburgh on opening day, and then will they get to 20,000? A couple night games after that?
Well, looking the other day, it's 37, the high on Sunday. Snow expected on Tuesday. So weather could play a part in that. I think the crowds have been much better in Pittsburgh ever since they started to have an uptick with their winning.
Yeah, they definitely have. And
good at bat there by Steven Strasburg as he lines it into right field for a base hit.
Just the second hit off of Adam, but he also has walked a man.
Trey Turner grounded out to second on the first pitch of the ballgame. Got a two-step lead at first base for Strasburg as Turner takes strike one.
Turner was the 13th overall pick by the Padres in 2014. Very athletic, great speed. They think he's going to be an impact player.
Here's a 1-1. High chopper towards first. Race to the bag and safe. Base hit. Turner. Infield hit. He can really run.
He can, outstanding speed and a lot of things to like about him. But I tell you what, I like the play of Holliday. Anybody with less speed, and you know, you would have got that out at first base. High chopper there. You knew he was in trouble. Holliday gets a shovel pass. Really threw that ball perfectly, leading Adam Wainwright, but Turner just runs too well.
A 1-2-3 first inning, then pitched out of trouble in the second, and now trouble here in the third for Wainwright. Runners at first and second. Michael A. Taylor grounded out to short. First time up. Strike one. Well, one of the positives of Wainwright getting hurt, if you want to look at it that way, was the fact that a lot of talk of camp last year was the innings and the amount of stress that's been put on that shoulder and that arm over the years. Well, last year, basically an off year in many ways for Adam Wainwright. So he's talked about here in camp, he feels as strong as he's felt in years. The 0-2.
And Dan, it was interesting because last year, trying to protect Adam from all the innings that he's thrown the last 3 or 4 years prior to last year, that he only made 3 starts in spring training. Told me early in spring, he said, I think I need 1 more. You know, that would have meant 4, but now he's making his 5th start. But he only had 15 innings in those first 4 starts.
0-2 pitch. Taken low. Leadoff base hit by Strasburg. Turner, the infield hit. 2 on, nobody out. Reaches for it. Out to right center. And a diving catch made by Grichuk. What a play by Randall Grichuk. He was shading Taylor into left center. Had a long way to go. Got a good jump and makes a terrific catch.
Well, we knew that when he was still in the Angels organization, playing at Little Rock, he was a Gold Glove winner. And there you see that outstanding play. Also, he kind of liked the ability, you know, he's not afraid to dive for balls and do different things. And he also has a strong throwing arm.
3 outfield assists this spring. Here's Clint Robinson. Outfield is straight away. We saw his abilities on display in talking about Grichuk. Remember the series he had against the Mets last year in New York? Some diving plays and strong throws. Really impressed a lot of the Mets folks that had not seen him up close.
It's funny, at the batting cage today, he was asking me, he goes, now, Salas is still playing? You know, and then he's going, we're the only 2 left in that trade.
Borges is with the Phillies. Freese is with Pittsburgh. 2-0 pitch. Fernando Salas, often overlooked in that great run of 2011. And what he did out of the bullpen. Led the team in saves.
I was going to say, he led the team in saves and kind of burnout towards the end of that year, but it all worked out, didn't it?
Sure did. Jason Mott, if you're wondering, signed with the Colorado Rockies. 2-year deal. 2-1. Lifted in the air to left field. Brandon Moss. 2 outs. So Wainwright 1 out away from getting out of this jam. Well, the Cardinals open up the regular season Sunday on the road in Pittsburgh. Fox Sports Midwest has you covered. Join us at Ballpark Village to watch the game or join the celebration by tuning in to Fox Sports Midwest. Live coverage begins Sunday at 10 a.m. followed by the Cardinals and Pirates at noon. Cardinals opening day on Fox Sports Midwest. Chris Heisey walked, stole a base, back in the 2nd inning. I think it was yesterday I saw it that Matt Belisle has made the club for Washington. They're the former Red and Cardinal that's reunited with Dusty Baker, and that's what Heisey's trying to do.
Talked to Mike Maddox, Dusty's new pitching coach, and they were real happy with Belisle, the way he was throwing. And he was the Cardinals' 7th inning guy last year before he got hurt. And there's Mike Maddox.
2 on, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Scoreless game here in the top of the 3rd.
Good pitch right there. Didn't get the call.
Wainwright is set after blowing his nose. The 2-1 pitch. Grichuk. This catch a little easier than the one he had earlier that may have saved the run from scoring. Definitely took a hit away as he robbed Michael A. Taylor. Randall Grichuk, Cardinal fans, your everyday center fielder in 2016. Outstanding play. No score midway through 3. Next time you want to grab Cardinals seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by the best value. So get the StubHub app today. Cardinals still have a few seats remaining for opening day. Good seats for the Cubs series. And then that opening weekend, the giveaways with the Busch Stadium 3 with lights, Adam Wainwright bobblehead with bobble arm, I should say, and the Yadier Molina jersey giveaway with the 10-year anniversary patch. And that's all coming up when the Cardinals take on the Reds in that first homestand. Matt Carpenter single to center field his first time up. He'll lead it off. Going to see some changes at the ballpark with the netting over the dugouts and the huge scoreboard that is high definition at Busch Stadium. I think fans will enjoy that. Oh, 1 pitch to Matt Carpenter. Were you surprised that the Nationals went out and got Dusty Baker? Or were you surprised that Dusty even wanted to do this?
More surprised that they went after him than Dusty wanting to do it. So I think it's in your blood, so you just want to be there. And you know, he's 3-time manager of the year, taken 3 clubs to postseason.
2-2.
I think you also kind of want to go out on your own terms. So see Dusty, how cool he is. Still got the sweatbands, and you know he's an excellent communicator with his kids.
20 years of managerial experience, 19 years as a player. Dusty was on deck when Hank Aaron hit number 715. Teammates with Hank. 1,671 career wins for Dusty Baker. Second among active managers behind only Bruce Bochy.
Chris Beyer there, you know, is right. Been around a long time.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Fouled away by Carpenter. Rotation is pretty good here when you look at the Nationals and what they have at the top with Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, highly motivated, free agent to be, Gio Gonzalez, Tanner Roark, who pitched against the Cardinals the other day, and then Joe Ross. They had 4 starters with at least 11 wins last year, so plenty of experience coming back. Here's a 3-2. Good at bat by Carpenter. Second walk issued by Steven Strasburg. And it brings in Colton Wong. That'll be interesting to see what kind of walk totals Matt Carpenter winds up with this year, which has always been a part of his game, seeing so many pitches. Had 81 walks last year, led the league with 95 2 years ago, and 72 the year before that. As Wong takes his high strike.
I was reading an article today about D. Gordon. You know, the Marlins last year won the batting title, and he walks very few. You know, he goes, I don't care about walks. He also had the most hits in the National League a year ago, but
you would think that would be a part of his game.
You would think so. And he says I became this player once I started being more aggressive at the plate. When he had 16 bunt base hits and also like 52 infield hits.
Led the league in those infield hits. We'll see D. Gordon tomorrow, more than likely, as the Cardinals take on the Marlins for the final time here in spring training. Pretty soon they're going to have to put the lights on. Starting to get a little dark here at the ballpark. The 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You see thunderstorms may be coming from the east, or from the west to east.
1-2 the count on Colton Wong. A short lead at first by Carpenter, and Wong a swing and a miss. Strasburg has struck out 3.
He's getting some of these high pitches that the hitters are coming up empty. And up there by design. Throws hard. Easy to throw it by a hitter.
Here's Holiday. He walked his first time up. 1 out, runner at first. You want to get the game in. That's,
yeah.
I mean, that's important, obviously, on both sides. But you want to get the work in for these starters, especially.
I mean, you know, Strasburg came in with only 14 innings pitched. Wainwright was 15.
They set up inside, and an 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2.
Matt walked the first time up. Talked a little bit about it. Just the body has changed a little bit, a little leaner. But that was by design and in great shape.
By playing first base, he opens up a lot of different options for himself, whether it be with the Cardinals or somebody else. Ideally, though, he wants to stay in St. Louis, finish his career with the Cardinals. Strikeout of Holiday. That's a couple of times he's had issues with the home plate umpire in the strike zone.
Set up away. See him pull the glove back. Lobato. Hold that right there for the umpire and sell it.
So following the leadoff walk, it's been back-to-back strikeouts for this afternoon for Strasburg, and it brings in Randal Grichuk. Single to right center, first time up. I think the catch that he made in right center is what Jim Edmonds has been working with him on, which was anticipation. They've done a lot of work during BP of just watching the ball come off the bat, anticipate where that's going and where you need to be. No false steps. They shade him opposite way, and the pitch is in the dirt for ball one. Borges is gone, Hayward's gone, Jay is gone, and so Randal Grichuk getting his shot.
Cardinals made a tremendous offer for Hayward. Turned it down, and I think with some of the money that was spent, I think the Cardinals, when Price rejected their $180 million contract, $200 million for Hayward, all of a sudden they said, well, we've been in postseason 5 straight years. Let's find out about our kids.
One of the things I noticed too, Al, and we were talking about Grichuk, but in BP today, Colton Wong was playing in. So we had a situation like that earlier too, where every ball that was hit, didn't matter if it was to the left side or at him, but reaction, and you can do those kind of things to get better before a ball game. You don't always see it, but it's something that is stressed. And to further your point, it's guys like Grichuk now and Piscotty and Wong. They're going to be the leaders of this club someday.
Absolutely. But you got to find out about Tommy Pham, Grichuk, Scotty. Like you said, Wong's a young player.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Randal Grichuk. Backs away from a breaking ball. Steven Strasburg pitched at San Diego State for the late great Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn. That was his head coach. I remember talking with Tony. He was doing some games with ESPN, and he said to me about Strasburg, he's the best amateur pitcher I've ever seen. 3-1.
Well, it's amazing, with the Nationals to have two picks. Now Strasburg hasn't lived up to his advanced billing, but Bryce Harper has. The two kind of generational picks.
(3-2). And Strasburg strikes out the side and picks up his 5th of the day. We have played 3 from Roger Dean Stadium, and there's no score. Talked about it earlier. Friday, April 15th, 30,000 fans ages 16 and older take home their very own replica Busch Stadium 3 with working lights. One-of-a-kind stadium replica presented by Ameren, Missouri. All you have to do is visit cardinals.com/promotions to purchase those tickets for April 15th. Cards and Reds weekend is loaded with giveaways, with the stadium giveaway, the Wainwright bobblehead, and the Yadier Molina jersey with the Busch Stadium 3 patch. The lights have just flipped on here at the ballpark, and the hitter is Chris Heisey. Check that, Matt Dendecker.
I saw that the actual giveaway, the replica stadium. It is very, very nice. Nice on everybody's little collection of Cardinal memorabilia. You got any of that?
Oh, I've got a few. When you have 4 kids, Al,
I know you have to get four of them.
Yeah, you're walking out of the stadium loaded up. The 2-1. And that'll find the seats out of play. Very slow-moving ball game, kind of just everybody getting their work in.
Yeah.
Not a sense of urgency, and that will change on Sunday. But you're right. I mean, we were talking to the players today, and they are itching to get out of Florida. As Wainwright thought he had the strikeout, so did Molina. Not that they don't like it down here, not that they don't like the weather, but let's start playing some games for real. Ground ball that's hit to Colton Wong. Bobbled it just momentarily and makes the play.
And it's funny because, you know, yesteryear guys had to work in the wintertime, so they would come to spring training to get in shape, get ready. Well, today's players train all year round, maybe even too much. But you still need that. Basically, you need close to that 6 weeks for the pitchers.
Fantasy camp was, I guess, what, end of January, February?
No, it was middle to late January.
Was it? Okay. When we were here, we saw Holiday, Carpenter, Lynn, Wong, Molina. Just to give you an idea of guys that were already here working out, you know, on the fields, BP, in the weight room, long toss. Just to kind of further your point, I mean, these guys come in, and from day one, for the most part, the everyday players are ready to roll. And as you say, it's the pitchers that need the time to build up the arm strength.
Yeah, it used to be where you know, position players would say 10 days, 2 weeks. But pitchers had to go through several stages.
Against the shift, a beautiful bunt for Stephen Drew. It will roll and stay fair. Cardinals put the shift on him first time, and it paid off with a runner at third. They got the man at the plate. And this time he drops down a beautiful bunt and picks up a 1-out base hit.
Now you see where Carpenter is there, so the guy closest to it and the guy that fields this ball is Yadier Molina, the catcher.
Here's Scott Sizemore. Runner at first is Drew. Sizemore single to left his first time up, and this time he goes to right center. Richick over to cut it off, and Stephen Drew on his way to third. Runners at the corners here in the top of the fourth, with the 8th place man, Lobaton, due up.
Stephen Drew is right here. Pick up the fly of the ball. He sees that that's going to get the gap between center and right, so he'll scoot on over to third base. Well, Sizemore came in batting .344, and he's 2 for 2 in this game.
So 1 out, runners at first and third. Lobaton Rounded to third, and it's a really good play by Carpenter and Holiday to end that threat.
Right now you got the catcher at the plate, so if you can get that ground ball, you got a good chance of turning two and get out of this inning.
1 ball, 1 strike. Big Cardinal fan, it says here, Chomps wants to say hi to Justin Meyer, Ryan Eberhardt, Brady Brune, Rob Fasholt, all watching Cardinals baseball today. That's from their good friend Chomps, and it says he is a huge Al Hrabosky fan.
Really?
1 ball, 1 strike.
Wonder what watering hole those guys are sitting in, right? Probably boss probably thinks they're working.
We know better, though. Runners at the corners. 2 balls, 1 strike. Strasburg is on deck. Curveball, and it's popped up. Carpenter gives it a look, and it's out of play.
.75 pitches for Adam, just kind of so-so, you know, getting the job done, giving a lot of hits.
Fly ball, lifted out to Moss. Drew will test him. Moss in a position to catch and throw. Runners tag up from both third and first base in advance. One to nothing Washington on the RBI by Lobaton.
Not a very good throw at all from Moss. He tried to get in position, did everything correctly, but doesn't have the arm strength. Get the momentum coming forward. Carpenter, aware of the runner at first, knew they had no chance to get the runner from third, so he tried to get that ball and get over to second, but tardy in doing that.
Heads up play by Sizemore to tag up from first base. Once he saw that throw going towards the plate, puts himself in scoring position. And here's Steven Strasburg, who had a very good at bat his first time up, fouled away a bunch of pitches, and then singled to right. A little check swing and a foul ball. 1-1 the count, as the temperature starts to drop here at the ballpark and the wind begins to pick up. And I guess they're going to start bringing the tarp out onto the field. Do you see rain, Al?
No.
Am I missing something here?
There may be lightning in the area from back there, but it's beyond our sights. It's behind us.
Just wondering if I missed something.
But boy, I tell you one thing, it's like on cue. I said,
must be lightning. They must have seen something behind us.
Because the fans are, they knew the temperature started dropping.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the grounds crew worries about the bullpen mound more than the mound on the field.
The guys in the Cardinals bullpen have not even moved. They're still on the bench out there in the pen. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something. So we'll head to a timeout. And after the timeout, we'll update you with what's happening here at the ballpark. Washington with a 1-0 lead.